Hey, my reactor. So we back with Women of the Bible, and we're gonna start off with the Shunammite woman. Our sister's grief is our grief. How do we share our loss or losses with each other? What can this unnamed wealthy woman tell us about faith, humanity, hospitality, and grace? God had the offer of 2 kings record her story to help us deal with our own losses. A woman of means, the Shunammite woman showed kindness to the prophet Elisha and his servant Jezebel. She provided a mom and provision for the itinerant prophet. Her reward for humanity, hospitality, and grace came in the form of prophecy. Elisha prophets that she and her elderly husband would bear a son, and that prophecy came true. The woman had a baby boy. In later years, the child died in her arms, the very arms that had held him when she cried, the very arms that had comforted him when he was ill, the very arms that had fed him when he could not feed himself, and the very arms that had taught him to love the Lord. Yet, although filled with grief, she held on to the fact that the prophet of God had foretold the gift of her son. Could we lay our child down and walk away? Could we hold fast to the promises of God? The Shunammite woman's faith and confident determination in the midst of grief resulted in the restoration of her son's life. Miracles happen to us daily. Our grievousness losses are somewhere precursor to a hidden miracle yet to be revealed. Our faith unlocks the key to our understanding. As we journal through the story, we can envision the many blessings that unfold for this Shunammite wife and mother, and we can anticipate our own miracles in the midst of our grief. And let's move along with Jezebel. Call me bitter, call me a wicked queen. Evil, idolish, and abuser of power are just a few of the descriptions associated with Queen Jezebel. However, even from her story, women of color can learn valuable lessons. Jezebel grew up in a home and community of idol worshippers. She brought her own religious belief with her when she married King Ahab, and her influences contributed to the widespread worship of idols to Israel. Jezebel influenced both the king and the country, and Ahab reign was characterized as evil in parts as a result of his reliance on his wife and her views. Elijah was one of God's prophets during the reign of Ahab and Jezebel. Elijah challenged the 450 prophets of Baal and 400 prophets of Asherah to call on their God to send fire upon an altar. Of course, they were unsuccessful. Elijah prayed to God to send fire on an altar that Elijah had first soaked in water. The true and living God produced fire. As Elijah won the amazing challenge, he ordered the death of all the prophets of Baal and Asherah. When Jezebel heard what Elijah had done to the prophets of the gods she worshipped, she sent a message to Elijah, threatening to kill him by the next day. It has been said that the test of the true prophet is that his or her prediction comes true. Jezebel's prediction about taking Elijah's life did not come true. Elijah ran away and hid from Jezebel's wrath, but Yahweh protected, fed, and sheltered him. Conversely, Elijah prophesied about Jezebel's destruction as well as her family's demise, and she died just as Elijah prophesied. Dogs devoured her so that no one could recognize her body. Ahab and Jezebel's evil choices contributed to their own death, the death of the prophets of Baal and the death of the 70 sons of Abba. Sometimes it seems like the wicked prosper and the righteous suffer, but this story reminds us that there is a day of judgment coming. Regardless of how things seem, eventually the righteousness will receive shelter, as was true with Elijah, and evil will have its own reward, as we seen through the death of Ahab. Jezebel and their children. And I'll be back.